Arizona Bowl, Sunday, Selection Sundays, we're going to pick who's going to come to Tucson and play on New Year's Eve. So Kim Adair wanted me to tell you that everybody's invited. 1:30, Union House, outside in the courtyard. That's when they'll make it. So if you want to show up earlier, please do so. Okay, pledge and song. So please welcome John Hammond, who joined our club just in October of this year, classification finance, private equity investing. He's with Lynn Capital, University of Maine oral graduate. After the pledge, he's going to lead us in the singing of America the Beautiful, accompanied by our own Chris Dodge, hammering away on Jen, the piano.
All right, we'll go ahead and get this started off with the pledge. If everyone could please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Chris said he was going to take some extra time to make me sound good here, so just a moment.
What is going on down there?
All right, well, we could start with some warm-ups here. Me. No? There we go. Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on me and crowned thy earth with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Before we're seated, if I could ask for just a moment of silence, I wanted to bring you up to speed with something. So on Wednesday, I'm really sad to tell you that Tom Browning passed away. And he's been a member of our club since, I believe, 1965. During his 56 years as a member, Tom's had perfect attendance. I had a chance to visit with Wanda, and she told me that this club and his perfect attendance were really important to him. She also said that she's appreciated just the people reaching out to them, and she especially called out Dr. Hugh Thompson for all he's done. So just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Arrangements are pending, and we'll let you know when we hear something. Our instincts are it's probably going to be after the first of the year. Please be seated. A quick announcement before we do the inspiration. I wanted to let you know just an update on DJ John Strobeck. John is he's still in the hospital. He's out of surgery. He's doing fine, we think. He's been quite feisty, as we all expected, and we'll have a further update on him hopefully next week, but he seems to be doing just fine. The inspiration, where is our buddy Mitch? For inspiration moment, join me in welcoming Mitch Pizik. He joined our club in March of this year. Classification Business Services, Business Consulting. Mitch is the owner of Pizik Consulting Group, and he's a University of Illinois graduate. Mitch?
As we are in the holiday season, hence my holiday jacket, we will be called upon to make toasts during the upcoming gatherings with friends, with family, drunk uncles, overbearing sister-in-laws, and unhelpful sardonic teenagers. I thought I could be of assistance. I selected for you several of my favorite blessings, toasts, prayers, and proverbs those of which I thought would most resonate with and inspire you. Let's start with my favorite Native American blessings of reflection. May you see your reflection, may you always see beauty. May you perceive the glory of all of Mother Earth's creations. May you comprehend the miracle that you are. May you understand the necessity of kindness and be kind to yourself, to your fellow beings, to all creatures. May you remember these things when you see your reflection. Moving on to my favorite Celtic prayer. May you be granted always a sunbeam to warm you, a moonbeam to charm you, a sheltering angel so nothing can harm you, laughter to cheer you, faithful friends near you, and whenever you pray, heaven to hear you. A favorite Jewish prayer. May all the gifts hidden inside you find their way in the world. May all the kindness of your thoughts be expressed in your deeds. May all your learnings lead to wisdom. May all your efforts lead to success. May all the love in your heart be returned. May your body be blessed with health and your soul with joy. May you be watched over night and day and protect you from harm. May all your prayers be answered. Okay, now get ready for my 4 favorite New York Proverbs. Friends give you a shoulder to cry on, but best friends are ready with a shovel to hurt the person who made you cry. A good friend will help you move, but a great friend will help you move a dead body. We'll be friends until we're old and senile, and then we'll be new friends. I don't like to commit myself to heaven and hell. You see, as I look around this room, it's clear I'll have friends in both places. And finally, the award-winning, famous, and timeless Rotarian toast, which I just wrote this morning. A true leader, a proud Tucsonian, an exemplary Rotarian, follows through, maintains a vision in the face of adversity, finds a way to turn problems into solutions, has the ability to empower the team, and lives to serve for the sake of the mission. Cheers, l'chaim, salud, pros, skal, kanpe, gambe.
Mitch, thank you. Please enjoy your lunch. By the way, if you have not signed the banners, and I mean both banners, there's a 20 and a 21 banner in the back. If you've got a second during lunch, just sneak back there and sign those if you would. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch. We'll be back in a bit.
I wasn't sure if I didn't. Nice. Nice. Sweet.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Yes, because I know we're running out of time. Yeah, this has to be used. If I could just say to people,
do a little video and then you get to stand up. Excellent. Welcome back. So we need to introduce some visiting guests and Rotarians. I know my buddy Chris Dodge is around here somewhere, but if you didn't know Chris, he's got more work to do than anybody I know. He joined our club in February last year, classification, entertainment, music. He owns Chris Dodge Entertainment. And guess what? He's a U of A grad. Hey, Chris. Where'd Chris go? There he is. Oh. He's trying to figure out how to say a name.
I got all miscombobulated there, Bobby. Sorry about that. All right, we have two guests with us here today. Guest with Dave Gallagher. Say hello to Susan Gallagher. Hi, Susan. And we've had a nice conversation. She's lovely. And guest of Layuda, say hello to Carlotta Larson over there. Hi, Carlotta. And that's it. That's all I got. So, goodbye. All right. Take it away, Mark. Good job.
That was it? I love when Chris gets up and talks to the microphone. I don't have to even do anything with it. It's at the right position. Thanks for that, Chris. So I talked to Brent Drad this morning, and he wanted everybody to know that he already misses us a bunch. He thinks that we may be worried about Tucson, but he's told us not to. He said that he wanted us to know that we're in great hands with Felipe, who's going to be our keynote speaker today. He said he's a brilliant attorney who's an expert on U.S.-Mexico trade. He created Vámonos, which is a visitor center both in Hermosillo and Ciudad Obregón, and he's been with Visit Tucson for 17 years, the past 10 as his executive vice president. He also wanted me to mention, in case you're listening, that he thinks that you would make an outstanding Rotarian. I must say I concur. We got a little video that our pals have done for us. Rick Rose at Film Creation and Matt Russell at Russell Public Media. Switcher Studio team, if you could roll that, that'd be great.
J. Felipe Garcia has a varied background in tourism, international trade, investments, business transactions, and government strategies. Currently, Mr. Garcia serves as the interim president of Visit Tucson. He is responsible for developing and implementing programs to enhance the relationships between Tucson and Mexico. Mr. Garcia also works with the Tucson Film Office to attract film and commercial production to Southern Arizona. In addition to his work at Visit Tucson, Mr. Garcia is a board member of several organizations, including the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum and the Tucson City of Gastronomy. Recently, he was elected to the executive committee of the board of the Delis Network with representatives from across the globe. Mr. Garcia was appointed by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce to the Arizona District Export Council, an organization of business leaders that provides professional advice to help U.S. companies export. Prior to joining Visit Tucson, Mr. Garcia worked for the Tucson, Mexico Trade Office as an economic development specialist and for the National Law Center for Inter-American Free Trade. Mr. Garcia has published several articles pertaining to international trade in numerous specialized publications. He's also participated as a speaker in various conferences around the world. And every Thursday, you can see Mr. Garcia on 2 different television shows in Mexico, providing insights about the U.S.-Mexico relationship to its viewers. Mr. Garcia holds a law degree from the Monterrey Institute of Technology in Mexico and an LLM in International Trade and Investment Law from the University of Arizona. Let's have a warm Rotary welcome for J. Felipe Garcia.
Can I get a copy of that video so I can play it before our staff meetings? Like an introduction and with some high music. I really appreciate the time today, and I'm sorry I'm not Brent the Rat. As you know, Brent decided to trade Tucson for the Cowboys, I guess. I think he's excited to be in, with Jerry Jones in a new venture, new venue, representing as the CEO of the Arlington CBB. But I'm here today just to chat with you, have a conversation. Again, please, I would love for getting engagement, hear questions from you about tourism, what we're doing, what's going on, and what we see coming into the future. So I'm going to start my presentation, if we're okay. Excellent. So we have a PowerPoint that I'll be sharing some slides and some information. So let me backtrack about 4 years ago. I think we were living in a beautiful world that we were thinking that everything was possible. And at that time, we went through a program called Destination Next. is this organization that came to our community and looked at us and said, hey, this is what you have to do in the next 10 years to really change your tourism industry and keep moving forward. And based on that, we developed a strategic plan as many organizations, and we were ready to execute and go through that plan. And we did 2 years, and then, of course, COVID happened. And our strategic plan, we read, and I'm like, I don't think we can accomplish or do this. So we had to shift our program and come through a recovery plan. It was about changing organizations. So let me tell you about this recovery plan. What are we doing? What are the opportunities we see there? And how we be very creative in Tucson. So I'm going to start with, we had 4 different objectives, and there we go. 4 goals that we established organization. The first goal is what we do. We needed to bring people to Tucson, bring visitation back to Tucson, bring heads in beds. As you know, tourism is great economic development. Why? Because it brings money from the outside here to our community. If later tonight I go to a local brewery here downtown, 1055, and I get $20 from my pocket to pay for my beer, well, the owner, Chris, is going to take his $20 and put it in his pocket and maybe pay another employee. So my $20 are just going to be going in circles around Tucson. But when a visitor comes to Tucson with $20 on their pocket and they leave it here, that's economic development. That's bringing new money here to Tucson. I remember a few years ago, my kids were playing tennis in Randolph, and there was this great tournament, and I forgot about it, to be honest, and I had plans. I wanted to go to El Güero Canelo. I said, okay, Saturday, lunch, Güero Canelo on 22nd. And then my wife said, no, tennis tournament, Randolph. Like, okay, honey. So change of plans. So we ended up at Randolph at the tennis tournament, and we had like a little break, so we went somewhere close to get lunch, and we spent $40 for me, wife, and 2 kids. Now, the tennis tournament might have said, well, it was $40 of economic impact because Felipe spent $40 here in Tucson. Well, it was economic displacement because I was going to spend it at Güero Canelo, but I spent it somewhere else. So it was not economic development, it was displacing. But there was a family from Scottsdale that drove to Tucson, and they stayed in a hotel, and they paid money and lived there. And they joined us for lunch, and it was new money in Tucson. So for us, that's the importance of tourism, and that's why we do tourism. So in our recovery, it's okay. We need to bring people back to Tucson. So number one, it was just about marketing our destination, marketing Tucson. And we started to be very careful, putting messaging out there in social media, in some platforms about what we had to offer, open spaces, and we'll talk about a lot about that. That really helped Tucson move the needle in the tourism industry. Number 2, as I mentioned, it was about talking open spaces. Remember, we were in lockdown, and our lockdown, believe me, was very, very light. I was talking to a friend of mine, the president of the Madrid CVB, the Office of Tourism, and he says, Felipe, I've been 1 month in my apartment. I can go to my balcony that is small and look outside, and once a week I can go to the grocery store. I'm desperate to go somewhere. And I'm talking to him while I'm walking on my house out in my neighborhood because of the access to open spaces. So I told him, sorry to tell you, but let me do a FaceTime here and look at the beautiful desert, and he hung up on me. And I understand why. So we started pushing that message, open spaces, and if you see recovery of cities around the U.S., those areas that were able to provide that opportunity to be outside and outdoors really make a difference. Another objective we had was about Spanish-speaking visitors, how we connected with them. So that's a market that I've been working for many, many years, and many times it's hard to understand that Mexico visitor. So quick question, before, as you know, we had to partially close the borders between US, Mexico, and Canada for people driving back and forward, walking. But let me ask you, every year before 2019, so 2019 before, every time someone from Mexico crosses the border with their passports and their visa, they're being approved to come here, that it's swiped in a computer. So now our friends from US Customs and Border Protection have actual data of how many times people from Mexico are visiting the state of Arizona with their passports, their visas, and with money in their pockets. How many visits do you think we get a year from Mexico in Arizona? 1 million, 21.5 million visits from Mexico to Arizona. It's not an estimate, it's not someone like, I think about, it's the swipes of visas at the border. And those individuals, they're spending in Pima County $1 billion with a B every year. Mostly shopping, some buying real estate, some actually we're starting to see doing investments here in our community. So for us, it's very important to make sure that we are appealing to that market. But the border was closed, so we got it very creative. Guess what? You can fly to the U.S. Okay, but we have no commercial flights to Tucson, but there's charter planes. So we started working with some charter plane operators, and there's an application that I recommend if I don't know why I'm fascinated by your service. And there's an app that you can track planes real time. And I will love being in my house and opening that app and see 3 planes at the same time, 2 going back from Tucson down to Hermosillo and 1 coming back. So there were like 3 planes going back and forward all the time, bringing people here to Tucson. So that was another strategy for us. And again, it was getting the message where people were ready to come across the border once we reopen it. And great news, finally, last month, the U.S. government decided to reopen land ports of entry into the U.S. And that's great because the holiday season's here, and we needed that money back here in our community. So another area that was important for us was meeting and conventions. And it was really important for us to be still in the mind. We knew that there was going to be no meetings and conventions because of COVID restrictions, but it's building those relationships. So we have a person in Chicago, her name is Denise Camille, and she's contracted to represent Tucson because there's many associations in Chicago, so she can go, there's a reception, a luncheon like this one, and we were invited to speak, and I'm like, okay, should I pay airfare or hotel for someone from Tucson to go there, or we have someone there that goes and represents them. So Denise, that's what she does. During the pandemic, guess what she did? She started calling clients and saying, I know you have no business for me right now, but do you care for pizza? Sure. Okay, open your garage door. We'll sit outside. We'll put our meetings on, and let's have a conversation. And you have no idea how clients responded to that, saying, wow, in the hardest times for us, you were there. And you were there not to sell something, you were there to be our partners and friends. We know that that's a great investment on relationships and then for business. And then something that has been very interesting for us, sports, youth sports development. We were happy to host here the U.S. Pan Am Championships on diving last month. Tour of Tucson, I think that is a great opportunity to keep growing. Those sporting events for youth bring people to our community. As I told you at that tennis tournament, people with money in their pockets coming here. And this one that was fascinating, and Mark will know more details about it, that I think that we're not allowed to say a lot, but everyone knows about it. It's the worst hidden secret in Tucson. A big TV show, big TV network, they came and they did a pilot for a TV show, and they're going to be a series. They're asking us to release they told us, guys, this is Tucson, we want to keep this very quiet, so don't say anyone. But can you put those flyers out that we're looking for extras? I'm like, yeah, okay. And again, this was a very unique partnership because film here in Tucson was great years ago, and everyone remembers the old days of filming. Guess what? It's not happening, and the reason it's not happening is because we don't have tax incentives. There's no financial incentives for film productions. So I remember we brought the vice president of Paramount Pictures a few years ago, and he was telling us, hey, 20 years ago when we were looking to do a movie in Paramount, we were looking in, okay, how close are you to LA? Because we wanted to bring talent back and forward. What was your scenery like and assets? And number 3, can we hire some locals? Because then we don't have to pay a lot of people moving back and forward. And he says, today we have 3 questions as well. Number 1 is, what are your tax incentives? Number 2, what are your tax incentives? And number 3, what are your tax incentives? It's about money. And you don't know how many times our film director, he comes frustrated because we get a scout looking for a big movie production, and he joins the scout for 3 days looking at locations, and the scout's so excited, taking pictures like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, it goes with the script, this is amazing. Thank you very much. All of this, we're going to replicate in New Mexico because they do have an incentive for movies. But let me go back to this TV series. So Peter's coming to my office, or he's walking, and I'm going to the restroom, and we bump into each other in our break room in the Visit Tucson. And he says, Felipe, HBO just called, and sorry, I said the word. That company called, and they're very interested in filming a TV show in Tucson, but we don't have an incentive. And they ask us, New Mexico, it's our frontliner. What about you guys? And we were this close to give the usual answer. They're like, well, sorry, we don't have it. But then we said, well, what if we call Rio Nuevo? I mean, I think they can be creative in finding a way to invest if we invest money downtown. And what if we at Visit Tucson, we were able, and thanks to the city and county, we were able to receive additional funding for this year. If we reinvested in this project, and then what if we call the state and the city, so we came all together, and we were able to bring that production to Tucson. And for the pilot alone, we're recapping numbers. Mark, you're going to get a report very soon. Unbelievable, the expenditures in our community. They were filming here in October, but there were already about 7 or 8 people in Tucson since March, living here, looking at scouting locations, making arrangements. Unbelievable. And it's fascinating, but my film director was saying, Felipe, the pandemic has been the best year ever for production. This TV show, we had another TV show, we have 2 reality television shows, we have an Italian movie. It's been just crazy. Why? Because we thought a little bit different on how can we attract film and production. So I'm gonna go to the next slide. I'm sorry that I stopped in there because I thought it was just fascinating how it happened here in town. And again, thank you to all the partners that make this happen. So again, it was growing visitation, number 1, and I'm trying to go over there. And can we go to the next slide? Okay. The second goal was about helping the community. We needed our community to recover, so one part was just putting resources about COVID and getting the information out there. The second, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop doing it and then you'll do it. Sounds better? Yeah, because I think that I'm like going forward. So working with the community to help local businesses, and I want to highlight the Metro Chamber and the Restaurant Association getting together. They created a new program called the Tucson Restaurant Advisory Council. Again, restaurants were hurting during the pandemic, and there were ideas on how to help them. One was actually building those spaces outdoors and getting sidewalks or taking other spaces around them. And now actually there are discussions of keeping them. The community and visitors are saying, wow, all those things that you built, like on the sidewalks and to extend patios, like, don't take them off. I mean, just keep it in the community. So we have actually now a task force that is looking to keep it just for the future, for all the time. Can we go to the next slide, please? Also, community recovery was about helping local businesses understand and help them with tools about how they can market themselves better. We had a few weeks ago a program that we just educated business in general about social media. Our social media manager, he's great. If you can follow Visit Tucson on Instagram, on Facebook or Twitter, he's done a great job representing Tucson. So we did a seminar through Zoom, and we just share some tools on how you can use social media for your business. And another thing that we're doing, and actually, if you're interested, let me know after and I'll send you the information. We do a free presentation that is called 15 Steps to be Mexico Ready. And that program is about helping your business understand how you really can connect with a Mexico visitor. And let me give you one example that we use in this training for restaurants. So today we're having great service, and by the way, great lunch by the TCC staff. Really appreciate the food. But when we have our business lunches here in Tucson, Tuesday, if Mark says, hey, we need to talk about a new development, and we go to a restaurant and we're gonna meet at noon. And at noon, they're gonna come maybe with a menu. The waiter's gonna come, ask for our orders. They're gonna offer if we want iced tea or water. They'll go out, they'll come back with our food, our drinks, one serve, and about 12:45, the check on the table, and we're like, great lunch. It was fast, efficient, to the point. Check is here. That's amazing. Mexico visitor coming here, if they see that experience, they're gonna be, what horrible service. Why? 2 things. Number 1, they didn't offer me a beer or a cocktail. The martini lunch is alive, still. And in Mexico, it's very customary for people to have a glass of wine or beer or something at lunch. So we tell restaurants, if you don't offer liquor, you're losing money. You're leaving money in their pockets. Offer them a beer, offer them a glass of wine, offer them a cocktail. They're gonna spend that money during lunch. And number 2, never bring the check if it's not requested. People from Mexico feel that is rude. That, oh, you're trying to kick me out of the restaurant. That's why you bring me the check. I don't know if you notice when you travel to Mexico, you have to call the waiter and tell them, hey, and then they'll bring you the check. Otherwise, they will not. But on the other hand, we tell restaurants, keep offering more drinks, keep offering desserts, whatever, build that is larger. So we're going to do this program next week, actually. Zoom is free. It's, again, another tool that we're going to provide our partners, our community, to better serve the Mexico market. Can we go to the next slide? And also in the community recovery, we were having a lot of conversations about helping people on employment. So one day I was in my office and I got a call from St. Mary's Hospital. And they say, hey, the CFO, they're having issues because with COVID and all the people, and again, this is the beginning of the pandemic, our beds are all occupied and we need people to help us cleaning people. And we need to keep cleaning the hospital and beds, but we don't have enough people. And hotels, they were laying off people in that area. So we're like, okay, how can we connect them? How can we connect people? So we started talking to hotels, and they were able to track down a lot of housekeeping that was let go because of the pandemic, and they were able to find jobs in our hospital industry here in Tucson. So we're looking also on how can we help our community and how can we help on jobs. If we go to the next slide. Goal number 3, it's again just regional collaboration and partnership. So again, remember, number 1, let's bring business. Number 2, let's help local business. Number 3, let's partner. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Again, one thing we wanted to do is let's enhance that visitor experience. When that visitor comes to Tucson, how we make them really appreciate our community. And I don't know if you noticed that in the last few months, maybe a couple of years, the number of accolades that Tucson has received have been amazing. For the first time ever, Condé Nast magazine put us on the top 50 hot places in the world. For the first time. We had publications outside magazine said the best places to live in the US, number 1, Chicago, number 2, Tucson. So all of a sudden, we started to get all these people looking to Tucson. And I remember 2 great occasions. So one, we had a journalist from California that she said, you know something? Tucson was unknown. Now you guys are undiscovered. And it sounds similar, but it's very, very different. And they say, shame on you, because we go to Chicago and we go to Tucson and we hear a lot of complaints about your community. So we love it. We have same or worse issues in our towns. I'm glad that you're talking about it and you're trying to fix them, but you have a great destination. And the other time that it just blew me off was we were in Chicago at the James Beard Awards. That's like the Oscars of food and gastronomy. And El Güero Canelo was receiving actually the James Beard Award. So we did a great deployment. We did freeze around hot dogs in Chicago. And some Chicago people said that our hot dogs were better than theirs. So we will not make it public because I'm pretty sure they'll be retaliated. But our team had we had a meeting, a dinner with a journalist that she writes for, Chicago Tribune, Eater Magazine, some of the top publications in the U.S. And this journalist was telling us, like, hey, my editors told me to stop the Tucson stories because there's too much coverage about Tucson right now, good coverage. And we're like, what, really? When? Never has happened before. So the amount of coverage that we're getting for our community has been amazing. And again, it's a building better experience for our community. So I tried again. Can we go to the next slide, please? Bless you. Partner with the community again. And I'm looking at Tom Moulton here, and I remember again, during the pandemic, it was about what can we do to help our attractions and working together. Again, that was another regional partnership. And we started putting a lot of content online to help businesses, again, be able to be open and seen through computers. And actually it was fascinating, like the Desert Museum. They say, well, we started putting content online, and fascinating because all of a sudden now we have visitors from all over the world, because they can just click in their computer and be live watching a Zoom presentation. So we had to morph and help and partner regionally. Also was about connecting with local product like downtown Tucson. We were helping Maribel Alvarez and the guys from Tucson Meet Yourself to launch that initiative back again, launch that program. They did a virtual, a very casual, I think, or very scaled down Tucson Meet Yourself during the pandemic, and they're coming back again. We want to be enhancing that quality of downtown events. We go to the next slide, please. There we go. Also, we want to help develop a new downtown experience, a new signature event. We have Gem Show that is great. How can we create another Gem Show? And we're talking about not something with gems and minerals, but another event that draws thousands of people to our community. Jazz, it's a great event. We're looking food. So in the month of May, we're starting to see this compression of events. We have Agave Heritage Festival happening in May. Mariachi Conference is coming back downtown, and they're going to have, I think, a food component. I'm giving you a preview here. They'll be announcing very soon that. And then we'll have a Pueblos del Maíz with San Antonio, Mérida, and Puebla, Mexico, another event here in Tucson, also those days. So is that something that we should be investing to bring those individuals with money in their pockets so they can live it here in Tucson? Can we go to the next slide? And the last one, and this is going to be very, very fast. We needed to look internally changes in our organization. Unfortunately, we had to lay off a few people during the pandemic. We've been able to rehire many of those back to our organization, but we really needed to change our approach about how we were conducting business. So one was bringing new revenue to Visit Tucson. We're funded through bed taxes. 89%, 87% of our funding is through bed taxes. But we needed to get more private sector revenue. So we started developing more and more programs to be private sector revenue organization. Now, we are a nonprofit organization, so I don't have a board that shares with profits. I don't have stakeholders. We reinvest all of this in marketing money to bring more people in Tucson. The more successful we are, the more money we can get to organization that we can keep reinvesting back. So we started launching a lot of initiatives like co-marketing programs. If we go to the next slide, please. And I need to acknowledge the city and the county because they were great helping us and partnering with us in such a hard time. We went and tell them, hey, we funded to bed taxes, so it's going to be horrible. There's no people traveling, and they really step up, both city and county, to help us maintain our budget so we can reinvest it, and it's been just a great partnership. And I'll close you with our October numbers so you can see where we are right now. Working with issues with disability, and this one, it's about, again, just re-engaging with our staff and community. We go to the next slide, please. And I think that's it. So what has happened and where we are right now? Let me tell you, we get a report, and how we measure success. There's a company called Smith Travel Research. And Smith Travel Research, what they do is hotels, they volunteer to provide all data of how many rooms they sold that month, what rate was the average rate that they charge, and that gives us the magical number, revenue per available room. So of all the rooms that you have, how much revenue you generated per room available. Now, for many years, Tucson, we buy that information, and then we buy information from our competitors, Palm Springs, Scottsdale, Phoenix, Austin, Santa Fe, Las Vegas, so we can see how we're doing against them. And usually we trail on the bottom. Now we're trailing on the top. Why? Because a lot of these strategies that we were to follow, and something that makes me very excited was we got the numbers for the month of October. In October of 2021 compared to October 19. So 19 was almost a record year for us in tourism. It was amazing. So that was kind of like the high profile. So October of 19 compared to October 21. The occupancy of Tucson hotels was only less than 1% less in October of this year than October 19. So we're almost there. It was 0.9. But the average daily rate was $15 higher now than it was in 19. So we almost have the same number of people coming, but they're willing to pay a higher rate, a premium, to come to Tucson. That's great news for us because that's more money coming to the community. We're excited about what's coming into the future. We're looking forward to more collaboration with Rio Nuevo. We have a lot of things going on with our community. Again, great things still in the pipeline for Tucson. Thank you for the time, the opportunity to be here to present to you. I will entertain, if there's time, any questions, you let me know how the program goes. So thank you again.
Thank you, Felipe. All right, President Mark says we have time for one question. This hand came up first, so I'll give it to Mitch.
Thanks. Okay, I have a compliment, suggestion, comment, and question. First of all, Thank you very much.
Okay.
Love that you're here. I grew up in Chicago. Okay. They have better pizza there. Everything else, Tucson's the best.
There we go.
Suggestion, I love the idea of you having almost weekly different festivals here. One suggestion, why don't you steal the hot air balloon festival from Albuquerque? We would be great at that. And my question has to do with the tax incentives. I know Tucson doesn't have any tax incentives for movies. Does Arizona as a state? They don't at all. Okay.
No, there's not a state tax incentive. There was one several years ago. Unfortunately, how it was structured, it was not the right approach. It was an incentive that said, okay, we have this amount of money, it sunsets this time, and we're going to give it to first come, first serve. And so we started getting people in line, oh, I need 100,000, I need 200,000, but they didn't need to execute. So all of a sudden, all was stuck in, oh yes, I'm going to do something in the future, and nothing happened. But we're rethinking, and actually, we have something very cool happening with Rio Nuevo that are helping us create our own local. We're going to be advocating, hopefully in the future, going to the legislature to see if we can get a jobs incentive that it's actually for the film industry.
Wow, what a great presentation! You guys see what have some of the fun stuff we get to work with at Rio Nuevo with some of our partners that we have. I think Brent was correct. We are in amazing hands, Felipe. Thank you. So as you know, as we talked about, we have a book signing that we do, and Felipe's already signed that. Today's book is What's Great About Arizona. We're going to put that in our Make Way for Books library to continue to support literacy in Tucson. So we got some birthday folks here. We're going to power through kind of quickly. Paul Hallums, his birthday was November 12th. He joined our club in November of 2013. His classification is Service Industry Traffic School. He is with EZ Arizona Traffic School. He's a U of A and an NAU grad. Some things you didn't know. Dorothy Finley was his 5th and 6th grade teacher, and they remained friends until she passed. Why did Paul join? He wanted to be associated with quality people who care about our community and each other. Why does he stay? Paul stays because during his 29 years on the Tucson Police Department, he witnessed great rewards that come from the care and respect of others and appreciates the things that we do so well. And then finally, what's he going to do to make things better? Well, Paul's going to stick around and he's going to participate and help where he can. Paul, happy birthday.
Thank you. I was lucky I met Felipe when he first came to Tucson, and I knew he was going to do great things, just like Mark. We're very fortunate. The greatest things for me, I have 6 kids and 8 grandkids. In the last year, 3 of my kids moved back. One transferred from Raytheon from Santa Barbara to Tucson, working on the same project, just a part of it. My other daughter is now working for a granite construction company as an engineer working on the new runway at the airport. And my youngest son just moved here, and this week on Monday started as Director of Safety and Security for TUSD. So, thank you guys.
How cool is it to have your family move back to Tucson? I hope they didn't have to move into your household. You didn't really talk about that. Hopefully you're still an empty nester. So next up is Hoot Gibson. His birthday is December 24th, the day before. He joined our club in December of '95. His classification is insurance and risk management. Hoot is with New York Life Insurance. He's an NAU and a U of A grad as well. So what don't you know? Did you know that Hoot was on the team that invented the gravity sensing device that's in your phone? So why did he join? His sponsors were Bill Starr, and his mentor was Nels Davis. They were both business mentors, and they told him he had no choice. Why does he stay? He stays because of the fellowships, and he noticed it's always good to go to a Rotary meeting or function and know everybody there. And then finally, what's he going to do to make it better? He's going to get involved, and he's going to get more involved. Hoot, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Just in case you weren't sure what he was talking about, when it flips, I was on the team that invented the sensor that makes that flip. Back in 1985. We had no idea what we'd do with it, and there it is. The other thing is, this is my big 6-0 birthday, and I joined when I was 30. So this year, literally, is half my life as a member of the Rotary Club. Thank you.
So I know you thought I forgot Bobby, didn't you? Huh? No, I'm just playing with numbers. I'm just having some fun. So Bobby's birthday is on December 6th. He joined our club in January of 2009, classification medical and healthcare. He is assisted living. He is with the Villas Assisted Living, and he's a U of A grad. So what didn't you know? Bobby and Tracy got married this year, 4 months ago in Nantucket. Excuse me, a year and 4 months ago in Nantucket. I'm sorry. Bad notes, bad notes. So why'd Bobby join? He wanted to get more involved in our community. Why does he stay? Because he's met and become friends with an incredible group of individuals. And what's he going to do to make it better? Well, I think we all know he's going to be running our car show and directing this area, isn't he? Bobby, happy birthday.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, I rarely wear a sport coat, but as Mitch says, this is such an amazing, esteemed group. I thought I'd wear my sport coat today. So thanks, Mitch. Remiss if I didn't mention the car show, Sweet 16, 2022. Excited for us all to get involved in that. My big goal for this year is to make it, as John Wong brought to our attention years ago, easier, lighter, and faster. So because of that, I will be calling all of you and the other 150 members to make sure everybody's involved in this year's car show. All right? So get involved, and love all you guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Bobby. I promise I'll do something next year. Paul Harris presentations. Please welcome Charlotte Harris, who has a special Paul Harris presentation to Ed Cole's family. Charlotte joined our club in November of 2000, classification education, administrative secretary. Guess what? She's a U of A grad. She also served as our club's president in 2008 and 9. Charlotte.
The Paul Harris Fellowship is named for Paul Harris, who founded Rotary with 3 business associates in Chicago in 1905. The Paul Harris Fellowship was established in his honor in 1957 to express appreciation for contributions to the programs of the Rotary Foundation that save and invigorate the lives of people around the world. There's a picture. Our Rotary Club's Paul Harris Fellow team does make house calls, and recently did so at the home of fellow Rotarian Ed Cole, where Ed and his 3 children received Paul Harris Fellows. In the photo on the screen, yeah, you can see the Cole family. Ombre, who is the front right, did the honors of putting the new pins on the family members. Nicholas, Allison, and Christine were selected to receive the recognition because their father believes that their lives exemplify the humanitarian and education objectives of the Rotary Foundation, demonstrating in each of their lives and vocations a commitment to helping persons in need. All 3 children received their Paul Harris Fellow +1. All are graduates of South Point Catholic High School. Nicholas, age 33, is a member of the South Point's Sports Hall of Fame for his outstanding football performance, a graduate of Holy Cross University in Boston. He now lives in Phoenix and works in a computer industry for a company called Applause. Allison, 31, who is in the center of the photo, is also a member of South Point's Sports Hall of Fame for excelling in track, gymnastics, and cheerleading. A graduate of Gonzaga University in Spokane, Allison lives in Seattle and is the only female supervisor for Juno Therapeutics, a company that treats non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Christine, age 26, is a graduate of Loyola University in Chicago. She currently is attending the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City with an interest in product development. She will graduate next May. Ed, our fellow Rotarian, received his Paul Harris Fellow +7 and has been married to his best friend, Ombre, for 41 years. He's served 3 years in the Army during the Vietnam conflict, then graduated from the University of Arizona, then went on to graduate from the dental school at Loyola University and received surgical training at Boston University. He moved back to Tucson in 1982 and joined our Rotary Club in 1984, where his uncle, George Cole, was a member and a past president in 1976-77. Ed has just retired from a 45-year career as a periodontist. His favorite things to do are spending time with his family, traveling, and fishing. When asked why he supports Rotary International programs, he replies, quote, "I support Rotary International because of the many great things that they do, like the Polio Plus program," unquote. Though they are not present here today, please join me in congratulating our newest Paul Harris Fellows. Thank you.
How cool. We've got a really great presentation by Joe DeChatelet. We've got two families that are getting ready to become Legacy Society members, the Gallaghers and the Adamsons. Joe joined our club in January of 2012. Her classification is CPA retired, and she went to Cleveland State University. Joe?
Thanks, President Mark. Today is a wonderful day because we're welcoming come on over. New members into the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation Legacy Society. Try to say that 3 times fast. It's very appropriate to have both Larry Adamson and Dave Gallagher here and Dave's wife Susan with him. Because Larry formed the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation in 1975 and served many years as its president. Dave Gallagher is our current president. I don't think I could have planned it better for both of them to come in within days of each other. With the addition of Larry and Dave, we now have 28 members. Oh, I don't see any of my slides. Thank you. We have 28 members. 2 have made the choice to remain anonymous. So this is really exciting for us. And I'm thinking now you're going to say, how do I become a member? So I want to tell you how to become a member. It really is pretty simple. You just have to contribute $10,000. You do not have to do that today. You can do that over a period of years or as part of your estate plan. And one of my favorite ways to recommend doing it is through your IRA at the time of your estate plan maturing, your demise. If you need all of your IRA money now, you can have it wait until you pass away and leave it, or leave something else in your estate, or as some people have chosen, to take a certain amount each year and give it to the Legacy Society, because if you have reached the ripe age where you need to start taking distributions and you don't need all the money, you can have it go directly, any portion of it directly to charity, and it won't hit your income tax returns. If you have any questions about that, talk to Luda. No, I'm a retired CPA, but I can still tell you how it works. So I'm going to ask Larry and Dave if they'd like to make a few comments. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Joe. It's been my pleasure to serve on the board as the president the last couple of years. As most of us, I think, would admit, sometimes we forget how many years we've actually served on that board, which is sometimes a good thing. But I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, and give a shout out to 2 people. When you're president of something, anything, there's always somebody that really steps up and makes your job so much easier. Kathy Getagawa has been my secretary. Thank you so much. You made my job so easy. And Charlotte Harris, dial help, Charlotte. She's always there. But I want to make a real big shout out to each and every one of you as club members who really contribute to make this foundation work, grow, and do all the wonderful things that you are all a very big part of. So thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
So Joe told you how easy it is to become a member of the Rotary Club of Tucson Society member. So once a year, write a check for $10,000 or $2,500, something like that, and this don't die within 10 years. Just keep it up and keep doing that. So I just want to say it's a pleasure. I was president of the foundation for 28 years. Emory Barker said I was president for life. Finally, we turned it over to somebody else. Anyway, it's a great pleasure to be a member of this club, and I encourage all of you to become society members for our club foundation. Thanks.
The last thing I neglected to say is I wanted all the members of the Legacy Society who are present to stand up and be recognized. Thank you.
History moment. Don't forget, this is still our centennial year. And with that, please welcome Bob Schaff, who has a special history moment for us with our own Emory Barker. Bob joined our club in April of 1992. Classification Consulting, Marketing, Customers for Life Consulting is his company. He's a U of A grad, and he served as our club president in 2003 and 2004. Bob.
8 years ago, in 2013, I was in a meeting with John McCaleb in his office. It was the week that past President Stub Ashcraft had died. And John turned to me and said, you know, we got to do something about this. We can't lose this history of our club. Why don't we start a filming project to film the highlights of the past presidents of our club? And we started that 8 years ago, and now we have 35 time capsules from 35 of our past presidents, 10 to 15 minutes of the highlights of their presidency, and that's a real treasure. And I'm so fortunate to have the task of honchoing over these things and presenting, thanks to Mark Irvin, who said, this is a treasure, we need to share it with our club. Once a month, I want you to put together a 3-minute or 4-minute clip from a past president. And so that's what we're doing today. And it's been so much fun for me to go through these videos to relive the memories of our past presidents. Today, we honor the presidency of Emory Barker. So if I could have that first slide, please. Emory is an Arizona resident, born in Phoenix, attended University of Arizona, where he had his BA and his law degree. He has 61 years practicing law in Tucson, with 37 of those years with his firm Mesh, Clark, and Rothschild. From his high profile, we learn that he loves mystery novels, and that his best Rotary moment was obtaining Rotary International funding for a project called Proyecto Amanecer, which helped kids in Mexico with heart defects return to an active life. So let's hear what Emory has to say about his year. Roll that video.
Hi, my name is Emory Barker. I was president of the Tucson Rotary Club in the year 1994 and 1995, starting in July of 94, ending in the end of June of 95.
Emory, what was going on in our club at the time? Were there any issues or things that concerned you as you started up as president of our club?
Well, when I started as president, we were underway on a project that Guard Pierce was trying to spearhead to construct a clinic in Hermosillo, Mexico, to do surgery on Mexican children who had heart defects. And he'd engaged Hugh Thompson from our club, some folks from other areas to engage in this, and we were seeking to get a Rotary 3H grant to go along with the money we'd raised in our club. So that had started, but we had the big push during the year I was president. And that was probably the focus of our entire year, was to try to bring that into fruition with Guard's leadership and Hugh Thompson's sponsorship of the physicians in the club and in the community to assist with that project. The most interesting part of that endeavor, in my judgment, was that there was no way to train Mexican doctors in Mexico how to use this Doppler machine that is critical to the type of heart surgery they were doing. And we talked to every kind of representative, all the folks on the committee, and of course it couldn't be arranged through the State Department. So very simply, Hal Adamson and Tom Kieran and a few others got some airplanes together, flew to Hermosillo, picked these guys up, flew them up here, took them to the university. One of the doctors, Doug Lowell or something, I think his name was, at the University of Heart Surgeon, trained them at the University of Arizona College of Medicine in how to use the machines with their nursing staff. Everybody here was all trained at the University of Arizona and then flown back to Mexico. All legal red tape was avoided. Nobody knew it happened. But by the time we got the grant, got the machine up and operating in Hermosillo, they knew how to use it. It's in use today.
Everybody talks about the Emory Barker whistle. Tell us, what was the whistle thing?
Well, one of our problems that we had under prior administrations was getting everybody's attention. And of course, when I was installed, I used the famous, I can't remember the guy that does the fights, but "Let's get ready to rumble" chant. I then learned that "Let's get ready to rumble" was copyrighted, and I couldn't use it without paying a royalty. So I had to figure some way to get everybody's attention. And of course, the way referees get everybody's attention, because people were milling and talking and always carrying on, and you'd cling the glass till you broke it or ring the bell. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to get a whistle. I'll blow it into the microphone. So I went by one of the sports shop, picked up a referee's whistle and blew it in the microphone. I only had to use it for about 4 months. And after that, I think the otolaryngologists in the community rose up because it was damaging ears. Now, it was good for their business, but not good for our members. So I stopped using it.
What advice could you give a new Rotarian for our club?
If a new Rotarian came to me and said, how can I get involved in Rotary and what can I do? I tell them, get on 1 or 2 committees, get involved in your committee work, don't shirk it, make it a priority, get to learn what Rotary is all about. Find out that Rotary is really an idea. It may be a club, but it's really an idea. It's an idea that business people, professional people, and others in a town can get together. They can have a good time, but they can also do some good along with it. If you do those things and get involved, then people will ask you to move on up and take on different jobs in the club.
Hey, Emory, could you share a few more words about your presidency with us?
First of all, let me ask Hugh Thompson to stand up. Hugh, I know you're here. I saw you earlier. And is Doug Lowell, did he come in late?
No.
Doug's not here. Doug's one of our newest members. These were the sweat equity guys that made Proyecto Amanecer work. Guard Pierce raised the money. I got all the glory, and they did all the work.
Pretty good.
They were involved in that midnight raid on Hermosillo and back. But they trained these physicians, and lives are now being saved in Hermosillo to this day as a result of their efforts. So I think he is the guy who gets the hand. Thank Hugh Thompson for that. The only other thing I'd like to say is Rotary is what you put in it. I was attending one Rotary, maybe it was an international convention. I had the terrible task of having to go to Nice, France for the Rotary convention. We managed to make it through that. But I heard a speaker say, if you were on trial for being a Rotarian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? So think about that and see if you can't create a little evidence. Thank you all very much. It was my pleasure to be president of the club.
Emory, thank you for that. Bruce, did you hear where he went for his convention? Where are you going? Houston? So I don't want to pick on anybody, but I appreciate 2 people. I want to mention any names, but their initials are George Larson and some guy in the back of the room there, Pat Patton, whose phones went off. So I appreciate both of you guys making that $100 donation to Herb's Fly Fishing Fund. Thank you for that. Dorina will get with you on that. Okay, so it's time for that Sergeant-at-Arms, Chris Dodge. We've already told you who he is. This time he has got over $2,100 in a raffle. Hope you bought some tickets. Chris, where are you?
I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Here he comes.
All right. I just forgot the tickets, and that's important. I'll come up here on the
By the way, while he's coming up, I want to let you know that these tickets are going to be available after the meeting at half price, in case there's any misunderstanding.
We're over $2,200 in the pot, guys. It's getting real. And Felipe, I'm going to have you draw the lucky ticket and the lucky card here. So, again, to prove to you all, there's like 21 cards left. King of Clubs is still in there. Let me shuffle it, and I'm going to have you draw a card.
Okay.
don't you invite, hopefully, whoever the winner is?
Don't show it. Yeah, let's just keep it. All right. Don't draw Mark's ticket. Okay, that's all I said. Because he wants to sell those for half price, guys. Come, more money for the thing. All right, I'll read that, and then we'll show them the card. So the winner is, it's $110 in my pocket right now for today, so, I mean, everybody's a winner. Well, only if you have this number. 856-282. 856. No way! You're bound to win every once in a while. There you go, Herb.
By the way, 11 of these tickets are half price.
Oh, and the card. Yeah, so it's that. It's the ace of spades, ladies and gentlemen. You can have that one too, Mark. You can get it. And he's going to donate that to the fishing fund. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
We got the fishing fund. And by the way, if you guys haven't put a picture in the fishing fund, there's a problem.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt. Well, actually, I do mean to interrupt. Do you know that we have a living legend in our midst?
I just went to a luncheon
A
for
living legend. I don't know if people have seen about this living legend in our midst, but are none other than George Larson. And George, I have to ask you, just how do you become a living legend in Tucson?
Hard to realize almost a third of my career is over. I started in 1970 here in Tucson. It was my very first job after the Army and going back to school to get a graduate degree. And I've never left Tucson. Stayed in real estate in one capacity or another for the last 50 years. It's been a great career. You all have been part of it, and I thank you very much.
And George, I just want to know that as a living legend, I don't think we can let you off the hook quite as easily as, a normal recognition. So this is a man who even comes prepared with a check in hand.
I like that.
And Mr. President, I know this is uncalled for, but I'm going to do it anyway, is George made a very generous donation, and so I'm willing to go ahead and donate an additional $100 if I can get 4 other people in this room to match me or more. Can I see 4 hands?
This 100 I just kicked in already count?
2, 3, 4. I've got 4. So, George, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Yeah.
By the way, George, that is an outstanding career in real estate. And I know George is just getting started. I think one of the funniest things I ever heard somebody say, George said his life was perfect because he married Mrs. Wright. It just took him a while to figure out her first name was Always. I'm surprised you didn't get in trouble for that with Margaret. So the fly fishing fun, can we pop up that video real quick? So check that out. Waukee, Mark, I don't want you to get yourself upset, but looks to me like Frank Dahl's ahead. He sends me this picture, sends me no details. I know exactly where he is because I've been here at Seward, this place. It's down the street from where his brew pub is. And but anyway, we haven't worked out a fine yet, but I did want to point out that it looks like he's gotten a little ahead of Waukee and Mark. So that's our latest person in the fishing fund. He hasn't told me yet what he's going to kick in, but I'm sure it's going to be substantial. Next up.
Hey, Mark, do you know why he caught so many fish?
Because he's from Alaska and he knows what he's doing.
No, he caught so many for the halibut.
Oh, for the halibut. That is perfect. I love that. Thank you. I walked right into that one and I knew it was coming. So do we have a little announcement, Chris, from you and Curtis on the Salvation Army bell ring?
Yeah, Curtis couldn't be here today, but the Salvation Army ringing, there's a sign up on the Rotary page. It is for December 11th. He really needs your help here, guys. There's 10 or 12 open slots right now. So if you have any time, I think they're hour slots, or maybe 2-hour slots. If you have any open time on the 11th, please come in and sign up or give Dorina an email, or don't bother Dorina, just talk to Curtis and sign up for on the 11th. That's it.
Thank you. That'd be a great thing to sign up for. By the way, we were the #1 group in Tucson forever as the Rotary Bell Ringers, and We just dropped into third place, so we're looking to get back into first place with that. Okay, Joe Janiszewski, I think you've got a little announcement about toys.
Yes, I do. How's everybody doing? Great. We're going to have a one-week toy drive. We've been invited by the University of Arizona Rotary Club. I think I got it.
Oh, you do.
Sponsor. And they said, would our club help them? And it will really be helping a lot of kids. We need gently used toys. We can use new toys. We can use fresh batteries. So if you want to gather some of those between now and next Wednesday, I'll be here with my elves and we'll collect the toys. Do we have a deal?
You got it. Thanks, Joe. Roger, I understand you've got something you want to talk about, your favorite subject, beer?
Yeah, another opportunity to create some evidence that you are a fine Rotarian, and that is to come help us sell beer at the 4th Avenue Street Fair not this weekend, the following weekend. So go ring the bells for Salvation Army, sell some tickets, car show tickets with Dave at the 4th Avenue Street Fair. Come and sell beer with us in the beer booth. We raise money for the scholarship committee, as you know. The foundation supplies scholarships each year for students at Pima and U of A. Luda is the chair of that committee. So come and let me know if you're available, and thanks to those who've already signed up. And if you are going to come, or you think you might come, meet me after the meeting here. We have to do a Arizona liquor license training. It takes about 10 minutes, and you'll be good to go. So come out and have some fun. And
Does it include drinking beer?
You can drink a beer after you have sold beer.
Okay, I just want to know the rules.
No drinking of beer in the beer booth.
Thanks, Roger. Chris, you have another little note?
Yeah, Bruce was busy collecting money, but December 15th, Culinary Dropout is our mixer social, so make sure you sign up. December 14th. Sorry, December 14th. It was originally the 15th. Now I can't go. So thanks, Bruce. But December 14th, sign up. All right, that's it.
Perfect. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so in closing, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, whether you're in person or virtually. If you'd like to donate to our scholarships, those cups are on the table, unless you happen to have one of those things on your badge where you're doing it every single month. If you've not received your Rotary pin, see Dorena or Carrie in the back, and they'll help you with that. Happy birthday wish to Paul, Bobby, and Hoot. Eddie and your family, thank you for your support for Rotary and all we're doing, and for being a multiple Paul Harris Fellow. Larry, Dave, and Susan, thank you guys for joining the legacy. Emory, thank you for being such an amazing guy. I don't think you've ever not taken my call when I've called. There must be something wrong with you. Next week, we've got Angelo Versace, who's our keynote speaker, who is going to address us on the Jazz Festival. Now for our toast. Felipe, thank you not only for your outstanding presentation, but your amazing efforts and our partnership in Tucson. As you know, you've got some huge shoes to fill, with Brent now becoming a Texan. We're all rooting for you, and here's to those like you who step into big shoes to make things happen. Hear, hear, we are adjourned. See you next week. By the way, Felipe's agreed to stick around and answer questions if you have any. Thank you.
Good to see you. Happy birthday. I will take a commercial. I take your class. Oh, you can? I'll send you the link. Perfect. And then I'll mention the link. Hey, I'm Greg White. I'm doing great. Nice presentation. Thank you.
All right. Congrats, buddy.
Mark.